guys, today's video is going to be on distributive property. So again, this is not a lesson from your textbook, so please take notes on a separate sheet of paper. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at our first example. If you notice, I have a number in front of a parentheses. This is called the distributive property. What we're going to do is, what's happening here is that we are multiplying. So we need to, what we say is distribute. So we're going to go ahead and put in 3 and multiply by everything that's inside the parentheses. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 times x, and so I'm just going to write that as 3x. And then I'm going to do 3 times 5, and that gives me positive 15. So I have 3x plus 15, and that's it for this example. In the second example, it's a little bit more tricky. Why? Because you need to see that this minus 5 is being multiplied by everything that's inside the parentheses. And normally when you see this, you would just think of 5 times x and then 5 times 3. Well, not in this case. In this, we need to look at the sign and everything, the operation that's in front. That's going to tell me whether it's a positive or negative. In this case, since it's subtracting, I'm multiplying by a negative 5. So I'm going to do negative 5 times x and then negative 5 times 3. So that would be 2. And then negative 5 times x is a negative 5x. And then a negative 5 times a positive 3, because I need to multiply it with the sign that's in front of it. So in this case, a negative 5 times a positive 3 would give me negative 15. And since we've already learned how to combine like terms, I can combine some like terms here. I have 2x and I have 2x and I have negative 15. 2 minus 15, I can do that because they're like terms. So that gives me negative 13 minus 5x. Now I can't go further than that because the 13 and the x and the 5x are not like terms. One has a variable, one doesn't. So this would be my final answer for distributing this problem. Okay, in example 3, same kind of thing. We have a 2 in front, but that little minus sign makes it a negative. So I'm actually multiplying what's inside the parentheses by a negative 2. So I distribute. Negative 2 times a positive 5 gives me negative 10x. And then I'm going to do negative 2 times, again, looking at the sign that's in front, negative 2 times a negative 3, and that gives me a positive 6. And then I bring down the 10x that was at the front. That was at the very beginning. So I have 10x minus 10x plus 6. Again, I try to combine like terms if I can, and I see that I have 2 x's, so I can combine those. 10x minus 10x, well, that actually becomes 0. So my final answer is just 6. Okay, again, a little bit more trickier. Now we have 2 things that we need to distribute. Now you might be thinking, well, I only see one number in front of the parentheses. When there is no number, remember, just like when we had a variable and there was nothing in front, we put an imaginary 1. Same thing here. There is no number in front of these parentheses, so we're going to write an imaginary 1 right there. It's like it's multiplying by a negative 1. So I distribute first my 2. So 2 times 7x, that gives me 14x. And then 2 times a negative 2, because I take the sign of what's in front, so that would be negative 4. Okay, so now multiplying a negative 1 times 5 and a negative 1 times a negative 10. So negative 1 times a positive 5x gives me a negative 5x. And then this negative 1 that's in front times a negative 10 is going to give me a positive 10. I'm not done yet because I still have some like terms that I can combine. I see that 14x and minus 5x, I can combine those. 14 minus 5 gives me 9x. And then I combine negative 4 and positive 10, and that gives me positive 6. So my final answer is 9x plus 6. That's it, guys. This is distributive property. We'll practice some more in class.